Hi, and welcome to another episode of Around the Neighborhood with me, Scott McMahon, your local real estate professional. And today we're in North Portland in the historic Kenton Neighborhood. And as you can see, I have a gigantic Paul Bunyan statue right behind me. And speaking of Paul Bunyan, we're going to be meeting up with my friend Austin Irwin from Director's Mortgage. And he's just tall. I'm not exactly short, but he's just really tall. But not as tall as our Paul Bunyan friend here. We're at the corner of North Interstate and Denver Avenue, and Denver Avenue used to be called Derby Avenue, I believe, and it used to be the main strip or the main street here in Kenton when it was established in the late 1800s. So before we meet up with Austin, let's take a look at what makes the Kenton neighborhood so special. The Kenton neighborhood is located in North Portland, just east of St. John's and north of Portsmouth and the Arbor Lodge neighborhoods. Originally sold in 1892 for real estate development, it was sold again in 1897 to pay off the debt of the Multnomah County Sheriff's Department in the amount of $15,000. Kenton developed into a prominent meat industry where cattle used to be herded down the main street, which we now call Denver Avenue. Today, Kenton feels like a mini city inside a bigger city where residents enjoy access to many indie small businesses. The average home price has been hovering around $440,000, while the median home price has been increasing to over $400,000 in the past year. I know we look dumb, but it is what it is.
Hey, man.
So Kilpatrick, as you were mentioning, growing up here, visiting your grandma, you were mentioning some other spots around here?
Yeah, there's a lot of gray areas that are old and new. Like the barbershop we're actually walking by, Bart's.
Yeah.
Revamped, but great place to get a haircut. Also, there's a great kitchen right up the street. It's soul food, but also they teach chefs how to cook there, which is pretty cool.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And we've been there a couple times. And
just to eat, or have you tried to cook?
No, not to cook, not to cook. I wasn't fortunate with those gifts, but took my grandma there and took some family, and we're all really impressed. And you definitely have a lot of the vintage stores still around, providing great garments, stuff like that. So it's a really, really cool place.
So we're cruising down Schofield, and it's just right off of Denver Avenue, the main strip here in Kenton. Just like that, right off the main street. Now it's suddenly quiet.
Yeah, right.
Now we're two weirdos walking around with this GoPro camera. So I told you, Paul Bunyan. I'm like, that's so tall. I got to go to this.
Gotta put the hand up a little bit higher.
When you think of Portland, or like especially North Portland, sort of craftsman style homes,
Yes.
is what you think of.
A lot of character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for someone who wants to, if you want to do the remodel thing,
Oh yeah.
renovation thing, you buy in low, and the bones are still there, and
Put
the
that
charm is
sweat
still there.
equity.
Yes.
Fresh coat of paint, some new flooring. Good as new.
As long as the inspection report checks out on your foundation, yeah, you're good. So we're walking along Schofield, just off of Denver Avenue here in Kenton, and this particular listing, made available by Patrick Henry of Coldwell Bain, is listed for $439,000. So Austin's going to walk us through. We're going to kind of walk through the house, but he's going to explain to us, what your payments would be with as little as 3% down payment on a $439,000 home.
What's interesting, after running an estimated payment, if you put 3% down for this particular home, you're looking at a payment totally at about $2,400 to $2,500 a month, depending on credit. But it's pretty neat, especially for a lot of millennials out there that are renting a studio, in that anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 downtown, you definitely can get a lot of home. This is about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, so instantly you're sizing up, which is great. I have a buddy right now that lives downtown, paying about $1,300 a month for a studio.
For a studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he's paying for is not really, it's more of the ambiance,
Yeah.
the amenities. It's not the space. It's about 500 square feet. It's not that big.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
like a true studio.
Yeah, it's a true studio for sure. So it's pretty amazing. I mean, even when I was renting a few years back, I had a couple of friends and we rented a home off of Burlingame, $2,500 a month. In the ad, they were saying it was 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but once we moved in, it was really a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, because the downstairs bathroom, it never worked.
Oh
So
my gosh.
imagine 3 guys sharing 1 bathroom.
Yeah.
It was interesting for sure.
If you're paying rent or you're leasing a home, the saying goes you're already paying a mortgage anyway. It's comforting to know that you can still get a loan in place for anywhere, sometimes for 0, as well as low as 3%. But look how charming this home. We're gonna go upstairs too. Let's check it out. As you saw, we just did a quick sweep down below. It's I told you, Paul Bunyan here. It's so like
Got duck in a couple.
Actually, it's fine. Like the
This one's
kitchen
fine.
and the living room are fine in terms of the height. We got a Jack and Jill, those bedrooms.
I was
like,
doing the limbo.
I know. Well, they definitely made it for Jack and Jill being this small. But let's go upstairs and take a look. And then outside they have a tree house. Believe it or not.
Just watch my head.
No, I'm getting you.
Wow.
What is it?
This must be the master.
Oh, let's throw the lights on that one. It's got the charm of this whole neighborhood, and literally, like I said, you saw us. We were just walking from Denver Avenue over here to Schofield, and we haven't even looked at the park yet. So we can take a look at that real quick. You can tell that they just built this brand new tree house, and they definitely designed it to, I think, appeal to a family or a growing family that wanted to be sort of in the suburbs, but also in the city. You got a little dog play going on out back there. I don't know if you can hear that. So I want to thank Austin Irwin from Directors Mortgage for coming out and joining me today up here in North Portland in the Kenton Neighborhood. As you heard, he has a lot of childhood memories growing up here, where his grandma, just lived down the street. And he was mentioning about this particular park, Kenton Park. It was really just like a field and where they throw the ball and play some baseball. But now you get all this. So the historic Kenton Firehouse was established in 1913, and it's owned by the neighborhood, this little town here, and it's used for community events. You actually can rent out this particular firehouse for weddings. It holds up to about 50 guests, believe it or not. There's like 3 floors down here. There's an interesting story about the history of Kenton. There was a time when liquor laws were restrictive, and like just north of here in Vancouver, Washington, they didn't allow the sale of liquor, I think, on weekends. So for a time being, Kenton became a little city that all these liquor stores started popping up left and right. And then they also had the interstate, or Highway 99, built right through, cutting up Kenton here. And that brought more traffic or more accessibility to all the liquor stores that were popping up here. It's a rich history of Kenton. This is kind of cool. On the corner of Kilpatrick and Denver Avenue, they have this statue that shows this big old hand holding this book, and that looks like the brief history of Kenton. Right here you got a trolley car, which is really great. It might find out what kind of history they had, if they did indeed have trolley cars coming down the main street, which is back then might have been Derby Avenue before it was renamed Denver. You can see the families, probably a modern day, representation of what we have now. But of course, you've got the cow and the cattle to represent the meat industry of, what this town was built off of. And we were just at the firehouse, so you can see the firehouse and the fire engine. And this looks like the hotel, which is right down the street. And it looks like these are books leading up to the library. They have a small library just down the street, and a larger one down Kilpatrick. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode on the Kenton Neighborhood here in North Portland. And if you want to contact me, all my information is below, as well as Austin Irwin's information is all below. And if you have any questions about the real estate process, go over to freesecrets.net. I offer a free video series called The Secrets of the Real Estate Process. Again, that's at freesecrets.net. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you around the neighborhood. And today we're in Kenton. See, I'm messing up that. And as you can see right behind me, not only is it a rainy day, but I have a gigantic Paul Bunyan statue just erect. I don't want to say erect.